General Hospital spoilers tease that Willow begins to feel something strange happening in her body, not the usual symptoms of fatigue or stress she's familiar with, but a series of sensations that cannot be explained by logical excuses. Her mornings begin with a fleeting but persistent nausea, her taste buds become erratic, and her mood fluctuates between vague anxiety and sudden emotional outbursts. She feels like her body is no longer her own, as if a new flow is sneaking into every heartbeat, every breath. At first, she wants to believe it's just the pressure, the lack of sleep, or the recent tense conversations with Drew. But then, those feelings become increasingly clear, undeniable. And then, one gray afternoon, standing before the mirror in the bathroom, her hands shaking as she holds a pregnancy test, Willow faces a truth she wasn't ready to accept: she's pregnant. The result is clear. Undeniable. Two red lines, sharp like two blades, carve a message into her mind. Her life, once again, will never be the same. The pregnancy is not just a biological shock. It's a truth that twists every belief Willow has been clinging to. Deep down, she's never been fully sure of Drew, the man who was once the light in her darkest time, but now begins to appear with a different face, darker, more unpredictable. Drew is no longer the safe place she thought they would stay together forever. The scheming, the lies, the subtle control, the secrets yet to be revealed, all of it is creating an invisible wall between them. And now, with his child growing inside her, Willow doesn't know whether it will bond them or become the noose that tightens around any remaining chance at freedom. It's a crazy adjustment, the only way to describe her current state. Everything is turned upside down. Her emotions are stretched thin between a fragile joy at thinking of the small life inside her and an overwhelming fear when she thinks about the future, a future in which she has to become a mother. Fight, and possibly raise this child alone. No one can make this choice for her. No one can bear the weight of this decision for her. She thinks of Wiley, of Amelia. She thinks about how life has pushed her from one storm to the next. And now, when it seemed like everything had calmed down, destiny has once again dragged her down. But this time, she won't fall. Because she understands that no one can save her except herself. She's no longer the weak Willow of the past, the woman who would accept anything just to be loved. She is now a mother, once again, and this time, she will choose her own path, not letting anyone control or decide for her. Willow knows the coming days won't be easy. Drew will be shocked. Maybe he'll panic, maybe he'll use the baby as an excuse to keep her, to continue manipulating the relationship in the name of family. But Willow also knows, if she doesn't break this vicious cycle, the child will grow up in the same suffocating environment she endured. And that is something she will never allow. The months ahead will be a test, not just physically but mentally. She will have to face public opinion, the criticism from those who don't like her, those who never understood the truth behind the so-called Willow and Drew. She will have to hold herself together every time she sees Drew's blaming eyes, every time he tries to cling to fatherhood to hold her back. And she will also have to learn to love this child, not because it's Drew's, but because it is a part of her, the only part of this crazy journey she can trust. Willow doesn't know where she's going. But she knows that this time, she's not alone on her journey. She carries a new heart, a tiny life, and a stronger determination than ever before, to live true to herself. And protect the future she is gradually rebuilding, with resilience and strength. After her difficult decision to go to Germany to seek treatment for her illness, Willow now faces not only health challenges but also dangers from shadows she never anticipated. This journey, which initially seemed like an opportunity to regain her life, has instead opened up a nightmare she could never have imagined. Everything is spiraling out of control, and this time, Willow not only has to fight the illness, but also the unpredictable dangers heading her way. The story begins with strange signs in Willow's body. Although she carries Drew's child, the pregnancy isn't developing normally as she expected. Her unease grows each time she visits the hospital, each time she faces routine tests and checkups. The doctors in Germany have given her some bad news. Her pregnancy has encountered serious problems, and carrying this child could endanger both her health and the baby's. With each checkup, each ultrasound, Willow feels like she's standing on the edge of a disaster that could happen at any moment. But what's even more concerning is that during her time in Germany, Willow starts to feel inexplicable obsessions. She feels like someone is watching her, as if there's a ghost lurking in the spaces around her. Everything in the hospital is overly controlled. Every step she takes is being monitored, and her meetings with the doctors are becoming tense and full of suspicion. Is this just her overactive imagination? Or is there a terrifying truth slowly being revealed? The pregnancy is no longer just a physical challenge, it has become a symbol of the horrors that may be coming. Willow starts to suspect that someone might be manipulating her, and the presence of this child could be part of a bigger plan she can't yet see. Hidden schemes, behind-the-scenes blows, and power games she's unaware of are starting to form. She feels cornered, unable to escape, unable to find a safe path. And then, a real shock hits when the doctors announce that her health is deteriorating rapidly. The fetus may be in danger, and without timely intervention, both she and the baby could face risks beyond measure. The dull pain starts to appear, and Willow feels like she's facing a life-or-death battle. But while she struggles with her own body, the scariest thing is the unanswered questions. Who is behind these events? Who is controlling everything and dragging her life into this terrible spiral? This bigger story is no longer just about the pregnancy at risk, it's about the explosion of a covert war Willow wasn't prepared for. The people she trusts might not be what they seem. Drew, though the father of the child, might have his own plans she's unaware of. And the people in her life, from Nina to her other close ones, might be hiding important secrets. All of these elements are slowly converging, and these changes not only throw Willow's life into chaos but also give rise to a new disaster, one where no one can be certain about the future. Every decision Willow makes now is crucial, and every step she takes could lead to unforeseeable consequences. Can she protect the baby inside her and uncover the truth behind the mystery surrounding her? Or will she become a victim of a game she can't see and can't win? Willow's story is no longer just a battle to survive, it's a battle to understand herself and all the schemes slowly encroaching upon her life. Willow feels everything around her beginning to collapse, and each passing day brings an even worse feeling. She came to Germany hoping to find a new treatment, seeking a cure for herself after months of struggling with a deadly illness. However, this trip has not only brought the results she expected. Instead, the days spent here have opened up a whole new set of problems she never anticipated, changes that affect not only her body but also her heart and mind. The most painful part is not just the illness, it's the fact that she cannot be with Michael, the one she hoped would be a solid support during this time. The feeling of being left alone at the most crucial moment of her life makes her feel incredibly lonely and desperate. Willow cannot understand why Michael has pulled away when she needs him most. Although she knows their relationship has been strained, she still hoped that one day they would overcome their differences and grow closer. She thought Michael would always be there for her when things got tough. But now, as she struggles with her illness and an uncertain future, Michael remains silent. And that silence deepens the pain in Willow's heart. Without him by her side, she feels like an island alone, with no one to share with, no one to rely on. And that makes all the problems she is facing feel even more intense. Then, one day, the strange signs in her body become more and more noticeable. The feeling of nausea, the fatigue that seems inevitable, and the dull pain in her abdomen increase. Willow starts to worry. At first, she thinks it's just the side effects of previous treatments. Or maybe stress and anxiety. But as these symptoms keep growing, and especially when she feels a distinct change in her body, a new fear rises within her. And then, as she stands before the mirror and looks at the pregnancy test, the result is so clear it cannot be denied: she is pregnant. This baby, the result of moments of intimacy with Drew, is now an inseparable part of her, though she wasn't ready for this truth. Being pregnant in this current situation is not just a shock, but a turning point that completely changes Willow's life. She not only has to face health dangers, but also a sense of tension and insecurity she has never known. This child was not something she planned, and in this moment, when her relationship with Drew is becoming tense and trust is gone, it becomes an unignorable connection. She fears for the future of the child and what it will have to face in a world where she cannot be sure she can protect it safely. The feeling of being unable to control everything, from her body to the child's future, makes Willow feel like she is being pushed into a situation from which there is no escape. Moreover, Willow's pregnancy is not going well. The pain becomes more intense, and when the doctors in Germany announce that she is at risk of miscarriage, all hope for a positive outcome seems to shatter. The waves of pain keep coming. Her body grows tired, and her mind cannot find peace. The baby, though a part of Drew, is also a part of her, a life she wants to protect, but now it has become a potential danger to her own health. In that moment of desperation, Willow begins to feel as though she is being swept into an unstoppable whirlwind. Her relationship with Drew, though at times subdued and seemingly healed, has now become a heavy burden. Willow cannot help but doubt him. She cannot help but feel that he is no longer the person she once loved. Unrevealed secrets, changes in Drew's behavior, and unspoken stories, all of these add to the insecurity in Willow's heart. When she realizes she is facing an irreversible dangerous situation, when she sees that she cannot rely on anyone but herself, Willow begins to think about her next choices. How can she protect this child when she is in a dangerous state herself? How can she continue her relationship with Drew when everything around her is falling apart? And will this child be the motivation for her to find strength? Or will it be the reason that drags her deeper into the mire of unresolved truths? The changes in Willow's body are not only signs of the child growing inside her, but also major shifts in her life. Everything is escalating, and Willow feels a disaster looming. She is not only facing the potential loss of the baby, but also making decisions that will completely change her future and the futures of her loved ones. All the planning and preparation seem insufficient now. Everything is being decided in a moment full of surprise and irreversibility. Jason, the man once known for his protective and rescue missions, is now on his way to Germany for a journey unlike any mission he's ever undertaken. The reason is not only Willow's health, but also the dangers that are gradually closing in on her. After noticing the abnormal signs in Willow's body and the issues with the pregnancy, Jason realizes that things are going too far. His relationship with Drew no longer seems like a support but rather makes everything more complicated. And with Willow in Germany, facing dangerous illnesses and feeling alone with no one by her side, Jason feels an invisible pressure weighing on him. Jason's journey is not just to help Willow. He knows that if he doesn't act quickly, a disaster could happen at any moment, not just to her but also to the baby inside her. But throughout the long journey to Europe, an unsettling feeling within him grows stronger. Jason knows that when he arrives in Germany, he will not only face external dangers, but he will also have to confront dark secrets that may involve the forces manipulating Willow and her entire life. One of the things that worries him most is Drew's silence. Someone he cannot fully trust. When Jason arrives in Germany, he realizes that not only are there clear dangers threatening them, but the hidden truths are starting to surface as well. This trip is not just to save someone he loves, but to uncover the secrets behind these dangerous mysteries. Jason not only has to face dangers from the enemies he knows, but he also has to delve deeper into the larger conspiracies he never expected. Clues begin to emerge. From suspicious connections between the doctors at the hospital to sources being abruptly cut off. At one of the hospitals in Germany, where Willow is being treated, Jason uncovers a terrifying truth. The baby inside Willow is not only facing the risk of common health issues, but may also be affected by something external, a drug, an intervention she is unaware of. This raises a big question in Jason's mind. Is someone secretly manipulating Willow's condition? And if so, what is the true purpose? Jason's journey in Europe is not just a rescue mission. It is an underground investigation, uncovering secrets he could never have imagined. He begins to suspect that a larger force is behind these events, possibly someone in the medical field. or even people connected to an organization Drew might be working with. Therefore, this trip is not only a rescue operation but also a search for the truth, where Jason not only has to face threats from enemies he knows but also covert threats from people he cannot trust. As all the truths begin to emerge, Jason realizes that Willow's life, the baby inside her, and Drew's fate are not just love stories or family matters. They are part of a bigger power game, where the players have never stopped plotting and manipulating everything from the shadows. And while Willow and Jason face new dangers, another disaster is starting to form, a disaster not only about Willow's health but also about the secrets they may not be ready to face. Jason's journey in Europe will not only end with Willow's rescue, it will open a new chapter, where everyone must face enemies who never stop threatening, secrets that have yet to be revealed, and a new battle they were never prepared for. Michael is about to return to Port Charles, and his appearance is not merely a reunion after time apart. So much has changed during his absence. And when he comes back, not only the surroundings but also he himself will no longer be the same. These changes aren't just about growth or necessary steps in his career, but a series of complex events unfolding right under his nose, secrets beginning to reveal themselves, and relationships that seemed stable now being placed in tense situations. Michael's story is no longer just about coming home, it's the beginning of a confrontation with the obsessions that have haunted him for so long. His relationship with Drew and Willow, the people he once trusted, is now part of the shocks he must face. Especially when Michael learns the truth about Willow's pregnancy, everything becomes more heated and complicated than ever before. The tension between Michael, Drew, and Willow is not just a simple love triangle. It's the intersection of the past and present, between wrong choices and decisions not yet carefully considered. Michael starts to feel more clearly that his relationship with Drew is no longer what it once was. Although he had previously seen Drew as a friend, a brother, now everything is more complicated. Their relationship has fractured as old conflicts begin to resurface, and Drew's motives no longer seem as pure as before. Drew is not just the man who once loved Willow, he is also someone who could cause deep wounds that Michael cannot overlook. Moreover, when Willow announces the pregnancy, this causes all of their relationships to undergo unpredictable changes. Everything is becoming more heated. And Michael must face the truth that Drew and Willow are no longer just two people he once trusted, they are now part of the tangled mess he cannot easily resolve. The feeling of betrayal, the confusion of seeing Drew and Willow together, along with the undisclosed secrets, makes Michael begin to realize that what he knew about them may only be the surface. Deeper truths are slowly emerging, and not only do they fracture his relationships with them, but they also force him to face unavoidable shocks. The situation becomes even more chaotic as these relationships are no longer just about emotions. It's a battle for power and control. Michael begins to see that his return is not just about restoring what he has lost, but also a struggle to redefine his future. He must not only salvage his relationship with Drew and Willow, but also fight against greater challenges that await in the shadows, conspiracies and calculations he has yet to fully understand. The new adjustment Michael faces, as he begins to realize that everything around him is no longer as it once was, truly proves that this story is heading toward an uncontrollable climax. The shocks he faces will not only change him, but also change the entire landscape of Port Charles. Now, as Michael returns, he is not just the man coming home after months of absence, he is a man standing in the middle of a battle to reclaim everything, a battle he cannot back down from. The story between Michael, Drew, and Willow is no longer simple. It's an explosion of emotions, decisions, and truths that have been hidden for too long. Can Michael reclaim the lost relationship? Will Drew and Willow face the consequences of their choices? And can these changes lead to a major turning point, altering the lives of all involved? All these questions will soon have answers in the upcoming episodes, as all the tension builds toward an inevitable confrontation.